Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tom and I make videos that help you awaken your soul and manifest your highest destiny. That's right, we have a bit of a new intro happening here. So thank you so much for waiting and bearing with me as I took a break from releasing content for a while. And that is indeed the purpose of this video. I'm going to be giving you kind of a personal update about what has been happening in my life, what I've been experiencing, the reason for my break, and what you can expect from this channel moving forward. So, where to begin? Well, firstly, I was actually just preparing this video, some key points I wanted to make, and I made a little post on my community page on my YouTube announcing that I was going to start releasing content. And as I did this, it kind of struck me, you kind of owe an apology. You owe an apology to your audience, Tom. And something rung true about that. It's not that I think taking a break from releasing content is bad, because my intention was only to heal and process what I've been going through in my personal life. So it's not that I can't take a break, it was the manner in which I took a break, which was kind of to leave it up in the air, to think maybe I could come back in a week, maybe it would be 2. And as I kept going through week after week of what I was going through, the break kind of extended. But the reason I realized I owe an apology to you, to anyone who felt let down, or anyone who didn't appreciate the kind of radio silence that I kind of went about when taking this break. Well, the reason I feel like I owe an apology is because there's an audience now. It's only natural. People have been messaging me, are you okay? When are you releasing videos? When are you doing coaching again? And it just struck me that I want to say sorry and own up for the fact that I could have been more transparent, even though it was a little bit of a period in the unknown for me. I still could have released more regular updates, and that's something that I'm going to take seriously from now on. And I've never really had that responsibility before in my life, and that's why I'm not handling it that well, clearly. The idea that there are people other than friends or family or relationships of that more intimate nature in your actual physical life, but above and beyond that, there are actually other people around the world that would like that kind of update too. So that's my commitment. If I ever need to take a break, or if I'm ever doing something, I'm committed to being more apparent and available in my explanation of what I'm doing. And so that's my promise to you, because I don't want to I'd be annoyed if I was following someone's channel and all of a sudden they disappear. It's like, are they alive? Are they going to tell us what's happening? They were there like 2 days ago. Now it's been, radio silence, then weeks go on, etc. I wouldn't like that. So I'm really sorry. I own up to that. And of course, I don't think that I'm like the leader of some empire. We're a relatively small community here, and I like it that way. But even still, it's just my morality, just an intuitive sense that that's a misaligned thing to do, is just to leave the audience hanging, no matter how big or small. So it's not like I think I have millions of people that are counting on me and I'm leading them or something like that. Not like that. But even still, just the messages I have received have prompted this inner self-reflection. And so that's how I'll be handling any kind of future big updates with my channel, is that I'm going to make that more apparent to you. Nonetheless, if you're watching this video, maybe you're not too cross with me and you're willing to keep supporting this channel, my content, etc. And I'm truly appreciative to you. Okay, so with that being said, and I know some people are going to be like, you don't need to apologize, you're going through things, but that's really kind of you, but I wanted to get that out of the way. But with that being said, you can see we have a fair bit to update you on. I do. This is a new apartment I'm in right now. I'm in the city now, so it's a city apartment. I can see all these buildings behind me, so I may show that one day. But this is my new apartment setup. So I've been moving house. That's what has actually happened in the little break. So I moved houses and I'm officially in my new apartment. So I'm really excited about that. It's the first time I've ever been living by myself, and I'm enjoying it so far. So that was one such update, was another house move. And if you've been following my story so far, I worked out in the past year and 3 months, I've moved 4 times. That's quite a bit. I don't know about you, but that's quite a bit for me. So I kind of am taking some time to settle down and hopefully stay in this place for a little while longer than my other places. So that's part of it. I was moving houses. And actually, a couple of months ago, the key reason why I needed to take a break was due to a traumatic event that happened. There were a number of things happening during this time, family issues. My grandma had a health scare and had to go to the hospital, and we had to kind of support her. All of these things in my life kind of were bubbling up with issues all at once, and challenges, and creating kind of, forcing me to kind of look at my personal life and get a little bit distracted from my work and purpose with this channel. But there was one traumatic event that really kind of erupted on one such day, and that caused me to really go into this retreat within myself. Now, because I hate when people do this as well. They say, I'm going to give you a life update, but then they don't tell you exactly what happened. But in this case, it is quite private. So I won't tell you exactly what happened, but I'll give you the gist of it. It was to do with the breakdown of a relationship. Now, I'm not going to say it was romantic or platonic or anything of that nature, but it was a soulmate connection. That's what I definitely can tell you. And for those of you that have ever had a soulmate relationship or connection, which, by the way, I have to emphasize doesn't necessarily mean romantic. You can have many soulmates across many areas and facets of your life. But for those of you that have had and experienced a soulmate connection, you'll know the depth and beauty of that kind of connection, the sheer resonance, the synchronicities, the alignment, the understanding that can be exchanged in this relationship at a level that you perhaps didn't even know was possible. And it lights up your heart and soul. It infuses your life with meaning and joy and fun and excitement when you're in this kind of relating with a soulmate in whatever area of your life. And so I actually had developed a soulmate connection with someone. And it was around the time 2 months ago that I received a bit of news from relating to this connection that kind of, in one instant, in a devastating blow, kind of severed that connection in a big way for me. The other person involved, the other human being, wasn't necessarily in the wrong or hadn't done anything bad, but it changed the context of the type of connection and relating. And it was a devastating loss in that moment. And it happened actually the day after I released my course 2 months ago. I released a course, the Ultimate Manifestation course, not giving it a plug, but that's what it's called. Link in the description. But no, in all seriousness, it was the day after I was working hard and I released this course. And then the day after I received this news that kind of ended this relationship in a big way. And there were some moments after that I received this bit of news where we were trying to salvage it, we were trying to bargain with it, we were trying to kind of mend things and change the context of what had happened to make it realign. And so there was this back and forth going on in this soulmate type of connection for a while, which kind of would have moments where it seemed hopeful and then moments where it would just kind of crumple again and again. And of course, it's a very triggering process, highly emotional process. There's grief that comes up, there's sadness, and there's just, just a dark space you go through as you're kind of experiencing the loss of someone in your life that you truly, deeply care about. And I don't want to make it sound too extravagant. There were no deaths, there was no deep betrayal or anything like that, but because, I don't know if you can relate, but I'm a very energetically sensitive soul. And so it just, because of the quality of this connection that I had with this person, the change to that was what really sort of had a deep impact on my life. So it was the loss of this that was a big symbol for me, and it kind of triggered this, hopeless state of despair. And so amidst everything else, amidst how, all the other things I was dealing, I just had to retreat and go into this pain and to realize that the whole thing wasn't anyone's fault. It was actually a divinely placed circumstance in my life to awaken my soul in a way it had never been awoken before. And so that's what I experienced. Amidst this kind of relationship breaking down, I had to surrender deeply. And I had to love myself, my human aspect and inner child, with more depth and sincerity than I'd ever loved it before. And I had to appreciate that human aspect like I'd never done before, and give it that space and clear all of that density that it had been holding on to for perhaps many lifetimes. But all of these deeply rooted energies and memories and emotional frequencies were coming up as I experienced this pain and went into it to kind of heal, integrate, and ultimately align and emerge into a better version of myself. So this was a multi-week long journey of kind of going into myself, into my pain, and embracing the healing process with as much vigor and faith as I possibly could that it was actually a divine gift all along. And of course it was. And so as I was kind of moving through the breakdown of this relationship and my life was shifting and I was healing within myself in a profound way, I had many, many spiritual experiences, mystical awakenings and insights into the nature of who we all truly are deep down. Spiritual awakening experiences. And there were many times where the pain got to such an extent that I went into it and I loved it so deeply. And that part of me in pain felt so heard that it finally loosened its grip. It finally felt safe enough, this human aspect, to let go. It finally felt loved and supported and heard enough to surrender. And in those moments, in my experience, when I went so deeply into myself, I felt everything unify and dissolve into the divine source within us. Call that what you will. And there was these profound moments where everything kind of lets go and disconnects from your human life, your human story, and simply surrenders to a higher power within you. And you experience your entire energy field expand, your consciousness expand. And it feels like the perfect metaphor is the drop merging back into the ocean. It's as if this current goes through your entire being of water and it just purifies everything. And as it purifies everything, there's nothing left that's in friction, nothing left that's in pain. There's only the divine unity between you and the source and the creator and God. And it's not a belief. There's no beliefs here. It's an experience of unity. It's total oneness. And as I kind of had many of these experiences after going through a deep, cathartic purging of pain, inevitably this experience would come where the pain would, for a moment, have exhausted itself, that what was left was just the willingness within me to surrender into the divine source within. And what I'm so pleased to say is that on the other side of that doorway of surrender is love. And I experienced that love many, many times. And it's just the purest love imaginable. It sort of feels like a mother that wraps up its child and pulls you into its embrace, and every cell of your body feels nurtured with this infinite love and perfection of this source within you. And it just makes you cry tears of joy and recognition as you have the epiphany that of course it's love. Of course you are the manifestation of divine love from this source, of course. And the experiences happen and then they kind of dissipate and you come back into your more waking everyday self, like I am now, right? It's not like you stay in these states forever, but when they happen, it's unmistakable that the highest truth is love and that there's nothing to be afraid of. There's only the choice to have enough faith and trust and intuitive surrender to accept that love is the highest truth, that you will fall into this sea of love and this ocean of love, and you will feel eternally safe as soon as you drop into this ocean. And so that's what I experienced. And what really resonated, because I'm not particularly a religious person. I used to be an atheist, very scientifically minded, very rational. But it was unmistakable to me that when you experience this love within you, when you experience the source, the divine source within you, and you have that awakening in consciousness, the most appropriate word for me that comes forth in this experience is God. Because the love is divine. It's not like a love that you necessarily have experienced in your human life. It's orders of magnitude more beautiful and pure and selfless and good and peaceful and perfect of a love than you've ever experienced before. And it's just the sheer beauty of it and benevolence of it instantly washes over to you in a watershed moment that this is divine love, the divine love of God or of the source or of the creator. So that's now a term I like saying is God. And I'm not talking about a man in the sky. I'm not talking about a belief system. I'm not talking about anything to do with that. I'm talking about an actual experience and awakening in consciousness that I encourage all of you to verify. But that's what I felt like I verified in those moments when that human aspect of me felt so healed and aligned and loved that it just dissolved into a higher, greater source. And that is what I would say God is it's infinite source from which the infinite expression of consciousness in all manifest forms that we are individuated souls and sparks of. That source is what I'm talking about. That is God. So I use it in a spiritual sense. I want to be clear. So that was truly beautiful and transformative and healing. And it helps you have tremendous insight into what's happening on the planet and the awakening of consciousness around the planet that we witness and have witnessed drastically increase in the past year due to the spread of you know what's been going on in the news, with the health around the world, with what's been going on. And you can really see the turn towards spirituality, the turn towards self-love, self-care, higher consciousness information, community and connection, environmentalism, and these sorts of movements. It's because slowly but surely there is an awakening of consciousness to this truth, and this truth for me is love. It's what I am, it's what you are. Believe me if you would, I'm not forcing anything upon you. It's just the experience I've had when you surrender. And surrender is a beautiful thing. That word surrender used to be like, I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that. It doesn't sound very, very good. I like being in control. I like manifesting. But you simply surrender into divine will, which is still free will, which is what you are. It's more that part of you, that human aspect, kind of becomes merged into the divine being you actually are. So that's what I mean by surrender. It's the smaller becoming greater, becoming more connected to the infinite source. So it's a beautiful thing, really, in that sense. So what I've experienced through this loss of the relationship, the soulmate relationship connection, and the having to go within and heal myself. Well, obviously I've experienced, it feels like lifetimes of evolution, really, if I'm being quite honest. Like lifetimes of healing has happened, and I've evolved so much it's not even worth kind of trying to keep track of who I feel like I'm embodying at a day-to-day basis, because that's the nature of the spiritual path. And I'm sure you've found the same, is that you can evolve so quickly. And no doubt, by the way, if I'm going through this, it means in some semblance you've been going through this in your own life, these big transformative experiences and upgrades and deep inner healing experiences, and perhaps even awakenings to this source within, or a turn towards spirituality. We're all going through this together. It's not just me whatsoever. So you no doubt know just how rapid this evolutionary journey and experience can be, and that's what it feels like. And so I've expanded energetically, and I will continue to expand energetically, because this is the infinite journey of the soul, that the soul is on, that we are all on. And so I'm not saying I've reached any final state or conclusion or anything like that, other than the recognition that love is what will always be an aspect of your journey and my journey. And the journey of all, love is always what it comes down to. And so a few other lessons I've learned. Don't compare yourself with anyone. And don't judge a book by its cover. Especially in the social media era, where we just are bombarded with images. This is all part of the journey in developing inner trust and inner love, was to more deeply recognize that every human being you see, in social media especially, behind them is a human aspect that is innocent and vulnerable and probably going through a challenge, no matter how they present themselves on the surface, no matter the veneer that is offered. So don't judge a book by its cover, good or bad, and always assume compassion for that being and honor that they're on their authentic, highest path for the awakening of their own soul and alignment with their deepest truth and highest destiny. So I've really learned to let go of comparison with others and to extend my compassion more deeply than I used to in the past, when simply encountering people on social media or in my life. So that was a big lesson that actually came out in this experience. And the second was love is the highest truth. And I've kind of touched upon that. And I wrote a third one down, but I never wrote anything. I was like, so it just says 3 and then blank. So I learned something else, but I didn't write it down. So factor that in. I've learned many things. And sorry, my leg is like getting pins and needles. I don't have a chair in this apartment yet, so I'm having to sit on a desk, like a miniature desk, and it's not very ergonomic. Ow. See, we're all human. Okay, so that's what I've been going through, and if you've gotten this far, perhaps you're interested in what's going to happen in the future with my channel. So it's definitely going to take a more spiritual angle. We're going to talk about manifestation, but sort of my own flavor of manifestation, which is really aligning with spiritual truth, with the evolution of the soul. It's no longer simply about acquiring material desires so we can be like, look how good my life is. That's only part of it to me, but really it's about the deeper journey that the soul goes on when it manifests anything, and how that deeply intertwines with divine truth, which is realizing that you're a spark of love. And so I really want to intertwine manifestation in a way that not only manifests your best life and teaches you how to create and experience the life of your dreams, but actually that profoundly transforms you on the inside, so that you actually are touched by that divine love too, and you realize that you are perfect as you are, and you experience the intrinsic worthiness, peace and happiness that is within you. That's equally as important to me. So that's the kind of manifestation teachings I'm going to be covering. I'm also going to just be talking about more inner healing, because I've had lots of insights about that, and the processing of emotional density and cellular memories, releasing all this so your frequency can raise, your vibration can raise, and things like that. We're going to be talking a lot about healing. And then we're going to be talking about spirituality a lot more. This may be new for some of you because I've not fully touched in on it, but we're going to explore what spirituality is, what enlightenment is, and basically what spiritual truth is from my own perspective, of course. So you always take whatever resonates with you and drop everything else. That's always the purpose of my teachings, never to convince you, but just to inflame and inspire your own path. We're going to be talking about spirituality and kind of more new age concepts. And I may even do things like energy updates, because I've noticed this latent, dormant capacity of intuition has grown rapidly within me, and I'm also like, oh, I'm kind of tapping into the collective energy. That was like the weirdest concept to me a couple of years ago, but now I'm like, I'm starting to sense the collective consciousness and where we're at and all these kind of things. So who knows, I may even do some energetic updates and things of that nature. But really, the focus will be manifestation and spirituality more becoming one and interwoven in this channel. And I really want this to be a special community as well. And in these videos, and when you're on this video, I want you to know that you're deeply appreciated by me. You're deeply welcome here too, and I love hearing from you in the comments, and you're intrinsically accepted and supported, and that this community is grounded in love and goodness and beauty. And we're here not only to as I said, create the lives of our dreams and realize our soul's gifts and highest potential, but to become the embodiment of divine love and to radiate that so as to awaken the hearts and touch the spirit of all we come into contact with bit by bit by bit. So that's the kind of community I want to cultivate here, and it's my honor to have you a part of that and a part of these videos. So that's the future of this channel moving forward, and that's the update of what's been going on. I know it's somewhat vague what I've been experiencing. I shared as much as I kind of felt was relevant without stepping into that those personal boundaries that I feel like are not so relevant to share. But that's what's been going on with me. It's great to be back and feeling great in this new space. I can't wait to release new videos shortly. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. And of course, I will be opening one-on-one coaching very soon. So you can check on my website, or if you've already enrolled in my email list to be updated of when those slots open, you'll receive an email from me shortly. And of course, if you want to check out some of my information down there, I've got the Ultimate Manifestation course, which will help you just basically have a really powerful framework and foundation to manifest your desire. That's what the whole course is about, A to Z rather, on how to manifest something that you want. And if you want to support this channel, well, I have my donation links below. So I'd truly appreciate anyone that supports this channel. The moment that donation comes in, it lights up my heart and it inspires me to keep staying on this path. And together, all of our efforts, as we spread this information, as we keep anchoring in those higher frequencies of love and all positive emotions, as we keep manifesting what lights our heart up. So we keep doing all of that, we aid in the transformation of this planet to being one of ultimately peace on earth, and that's what this is all about. All right, thank you for listening to this update video, and I look forward to seeing you in new videos soon.